Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Rogers, and we are here to talk to you, the parents, about the Detroit Promise Scholarship and how to get your student prepared for it. The first thing we want to let you all know is that it's never too early to start preparing for how to afford your child's education. And one of those ways that you can do that is by understanding Detroit Promise Scholarship, what we cover, and what schools we work with. The Detroit Promise Scholarship covers tuition and mandatory fees. So if you're planning for how to be able to afford your child's education, if you know that the school will cover tuition and mandatory fees, you only have to prepare for those other costs associated with attending college, like your room and board, books, or other fees that might come if a student, for example, takes a science class that has extra lab fees or something like that, that might increase their cost of attendance. So you can help them by figuring out ways to start saving money for those expenses or finding additional scholarship or grant opportunities that your student might be eligible for in the future. Another thing is preparing students for academic requirements. The Detroit Promise does have a history of having GPA and test score requirements. So making sure your student has a high GPA, regardless of the Detroit Promise Scholarship, we want students to strive for the best. So we want students to be producing A's and B's, have a 3.0 GPAs or higher to allow them to get other academic scholarships and to get into the schools that they would like to. Even though Detroit Promise has scholarship GPA requirements for our scholarship, that might not be the GPA that's required to get into that school. For example, U of M. Typically, we have a 3.0 GPA requirement, but typically, University of Michigan's test admissions requirements are usually higher than that. They usually accept students with well above a 3.0 GPA. So just something to keep in mind. That's not the case for all of the schools, but in terms of preparing for your students, making sure that you understand the mission requirements for some schools versus what the Detroit Promise requirements might be and how you can prepare them for that journey. The next thing that we want you all to be aware of is get your students involved, figure out what they're interested in, participate in extracurricular activities, whether or not they're offered at the school or some other community-based organization or another program that's being offered. Allow your students to figure out what their interests are, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and that can help them determine what careers they're interested in and also what college or university they might want to attend. Last but not least, on my side, exploring college early. It's never too early to start exploring your kids to college campuses, getting those tours. If you have a previous student that graduated from college or somebody in your family that graduated from college, have them take them on a tour to campus. Show them this is where I ate. This is, what I did. These are the halls I walked. It doesn't always have to be an official college tour, but those are great too because they get to show you the official things that are going over the campus. But use your community. If you know people that's going to college, use them as a resource to have your student ask them questions about, their experiences, how that related to whatever career field they're interested in. Just to start preparing your child early. The earlier you have these conversations, the more it will help them in the long run. Tanisha will talk about some things that can be done in high school, but starting early, getting them exploring this early on can help alleviate how much work they have to do by the time they get to Kanisha.
Hi, everybody. So, my name is Kenesha, and I am going to go over the high school side. So, as a parent, or maybe you're a community based organization, you really want to work with the student to make sure that they are getting themselves registered. It is the student's responsibility to register once they hit ninth grade. So, they're going to be registering under their name with their email address. So, make sure that they understand our requirements and that they've registered. So, just to go briefly over our requirements, for the 2 year funding, that is going to be the community college funding. Students do have to live in Detroit and go to a Detroit high school junior and senior year. There are no GPA requirements, no test score requirements. And then for our 4 year funding or the university funding, students do have to live in Detroit and go to a Detroit high school all 4 years of high school. So that's from freshman year to senior year. And then for our GPA requirements, typically it is going to look like a 3.0 GPA and then test optional SAT scores. So that just means that as long as you get accepted into the school and you have a 3.0, you are all set. You don't have to share your test scores. We have one school at Michigan State University. They are still pending, but we will have that updated on our website. And then we have some schools that go below that 3.0 GPA. So you really want to make sure that your student or your child is looking at our test score updates on our website, which is DetroitPromise.com, and it's going across the screen right now, so that they can always be updated on what they need for that school. And then another thing, you want to discuss their college options. So we partner with 26 different colleges and universities, so they have a lot of different options. So let them know that they have options and talk to them about those different options. Have they done their applications? Do they know what's required for these schools? And then we encourage SAT prep. Just because we're doing the test optional path right now, it's really due to COVID. Typically we do have a SAT score, so you still want to be registering for that SAT. You want to be studying or have your students studying for it, because there may be a time where we do go back to SAT scores. So knowing that that is a possibility, making sure that they're on Khan Academy or College Board studying for the SAT or PSAT so they can get those test scores up. And then, of course, visiting a college campus. We know these times are uncertain, so even if it's just a virtual tour, knowing what that campus looks like, could your students see themselves on that campus? Is it too big? Maybe it's too small, or they don't, see students that look like them. So you really want to expose them early, even if it's 12th grade and it's not early. They want to be exposed to that campus before they enroll and pay that tuition before they get there. And then start discussing those career options. A lot of times, I've worked with students where they're like, I really want to go to this school. This is what I want to do. And then they realize they don't have their major option. So make sure you know what you want to do before you pick your college, because you want to make sure that they can help you get to that next step.
So I hope that was helpful to all of you all, and that you were able to get some tips on how to access the Detroit Promise. The most important step right now is going to register. Whether or not you're a K through 8th grade parent or a 9th to 12th grade student, go to DetroitPromise.com and get registered. We know that some people have had problems registering. If you are one of those people who've had a problem registering for the Detroit Promise, go to our frequently asked question registration page on our website, and that should be able to help you. If not, please email us at info@detroitpromise.com, and we'll make sure to respond to you as soon as possible. Um, and outside of that, we also have office hours that are Mondays from 4 to 5. So if there is a parent or student on the line who wants to reach out to us and have an in-person, not an in-person meeting, a virtual meeting, then please go to calendly.com/Detroit Promise to receive that additional information. Apologize for my dog barking in the background, but leave a comment if you have any more questions or concerns, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.